Hey everybody, I just wanted to say hi and happy Saturday. I'm so overwhelmed. Just about fell down. We've got nearly 65,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much. And on top of that, you guys are watching the videos and you're commenting and giving me feedback, which helps me grow this channel and create better content that you, quite frankly, want to see. So thank you for all of that. We've got the Z car. I've got the Vice Grip wannabe SS truck, the black one. We're smoothing it out, and there's a lot of great plans coming for that one. The garbage Camaro is coming along nicely, but I'm waiting for some parts, and I'm waiting for some time to actually dig in and cut some cars apart. So that's all coming. This week, we're reaching back into the archives, classic Paintucation, very early KT. I look like I'm 10 years old, and the information is still valid. Guess what? I'm going to show you how to put a headliner in and how to do a leather seat repair. And, again, we'll take your comments and questions. This is great content, and you probably haven't seen it because I had to dig it up out of a file vault, but it's still good information. So thanks again for watching, and check out how to do a leather seat repair on a Bolster and how to put in a DIY headliner kit. It's good stuff. We've all seen the headliners in some late model cars, drooping down, stapled in place, even thumbtacked up so they're not hanging down onto the driver's head. This is a pretty common problem in a lot of the 80s and 90s vehicles, but the good news is that the fix is not really that difficult. First, you need to remove the headliner. You'll have to remove the sun visors, dome lights, surround moldings, using pry tools and screwdrivers. Keep in mind that some of the plastic gets brittle with age, so you need to be careful. The first step is to remove the old rotted fabric from the board. Most of it should come off by hand at this stage, and it just needs to be thrown away. With the fabric out of the way, you can easily remove the separated foam with a brass bristled brush with soft bristles. The one I'm using is for scrubbing pots, but it works great for this application. You don't want to get too aggressive, but this step takes a little work, and you want to get as much of the old material off as possible. Work at it until you have no more loose debris and a clean board, and you're ready for the next step. The heads-up headliner kit we got came with factory-matched fabric as well as a can of spray adhesive, and enough fabric to do 2 of the small El Camino headliners we're working on. With your fabric laid out foam side up, place the board on top to get a feel for where you'll have to trim the edges. I like to make sure I've got plenty of overlap to allow for adjustment. Once I've centered my board, I trim off the excess. I like to have a few inches on each side just to be safe. With my rough cut done, I flip the board over with the fabric side facing me and test fit the fabric again. Make sure you have the foam side toward the headliner at this point, just like it will be installed. Again, I'm double checking to make sure I've got good overlap on all sides. Once I'm satisfied with the position, I fold 1/2 of the liner back to expose the board and the underside of the fabric. Our adhesive came with the kit, but you can find spray glue at home centers, craft shops, and upholstery shops. It's fairly easy to come by. Make sure you shake the can thoroughly, then start spraying an even coat on the headliner board and overlap the wide spray pattern that comes out. Smooth, even strokes make a smooth, even coat. Don't hurry at this point, you've got plenty of time here. And notice that I'm wearing gloves and a mask. Always work in a well-ventilated area too. Don't take chances with safety. Now spray an even coat on the fabric itself, all the way out to the edges. The adhesive dries very fast, and with it still tacky, I fold the fabric back onto the board, working from the middle out. The reason I do this with the glue still pliable is that if I make a mistake, it's a little more forgiving. I'm being very careful as I work and taking my time, making sure the fabric is free of any wrinkles or folds. Once I've got my first side worked out smooth, I expose the other half and pull it back slightly past the glue to overlap a little and make sure that I don't have pockets with no adhesive. Same story here on this side, just smooth, even strokes for a smooth, even coat of adhesive. And again on the fabric as well, apply a nice, even coat of glue. Contact adhesives are pretty forgiving and your window of opportunity to lay down your fabric is pretty long, but read any instructions on your particular adhesive just to be sure. Again, I'm smoothing out the fabric by hand, making sure there are no folds or wrinkles and that it fits into all the contours of the headliner board. Once I'm satisfied with the front side, I flip the board over and spray another coat of glue on the overlap areas to make sure I get a good bond on the back side. I trim the excess to about 1.5 inches after I've sprayed the glue to make sure I have room for an even coat on my overlap fold. After trimming, I simply fold the fabric onto the board and work my way around the headliner board. For the dome light opening, I spray a coat of glue. Then with the single-edged razor blade, I trim the center of the opening and make some relief cuts at either end to fold it over onto the board. And then I just fold the fabric back onto the board, making a nice neat opening that looks professionally upholstered from the front side. Here's a tip for relocating your mounting screws. Use an awl or a small screwdriver and poke it through the headliner and simply mark with an ink marker on the front side. This keeps you from damaging the fabric trying to locate holes blindly. Installation is simply the reverse of removal. You should keep up with all your fasteners, and if there's a lot, bag and label them to avoid any confusion during reassembly. The finished product looks fantastic, and it's literally as easy as it looks.
This is a late model seat in a vintage 60s muscle car. It's a great combination because it gives good comfort with a really classic look. Now, the problem with these seats is that they're bolstered, and this really kind of takes a lot of abuse more than any other part of the seat, getting in and out. Right here we can see it's split, and it's just basically worn down. This is a pretty comfortable fix. We're going to show you how to take care of that.
I start off by cleaning the whole seat with acetone, which is very aggressive and the reason I'm wearing gloves. I'll be using aerosol interior dye on the repair and the rest of the seat, so I want to make sure it's very clean and free of any conditioners and contamination. I follow that with a gray scuffing pad to rough up the surface slightly and give a little prep for the leather and vinyl parts of the seat. Again, I follow with another wipe down with acetone to really clean the seats.
Don't do this if you're not going to follow with the top coat. You may damage the color of your leather or vinyl. Now mask any areas that I don't want to paint, such as seat controls and plastic moldings. Once I've outlined all the areas I want to mask, I follow up with masking paper and cover anything I don't want to get overspray on. I'm using a popular off-the-shelf repair kit that's been available for years. The first step is to apply the clear filler to the damaged area. As it tacks up, I smooth it out with a spreader to even it out and form it into shape. This sometimes takes several applications, so be prepared for a couple of coats. Once you're satisfied with the first step, move on to the color palette. Our selection is easy, we're just using straight black, but the kit comes with primary colors and a guide so you can mix and match any color. The color has some filling properties too, but it's more for pigment than repair. Just blend it into your surrounding seat area. We're not done yet. The cool part of this kit is that you can match the texture of your upholstery with the patterned paper supplied in the kit. Once you've chosen the right pattern, just apply it over the color with it still fairly tacky. Using a local heat source, I heat up the anvil before pressing it into the patterned paper. As you press it into the paper, it forces the pattern that's on the other side of the paper into your repair, while at the same time heat curing the whole process. Once it's been left to cool for a few minutes, the reveal is a very nice looking repair. Dyeing the surface of the seat is as simple as any spray can coating. Use overlapping patterns and a smooth, uniform coat. The first coat should be a medium to light coat where you don't wet the dye down with each stroke, but make sure it's nice and even by using overlapped paint strokes and working your way from one end to the other. After testing to see if it's dry to touch, I apply a second heavier coat to finish this project off. I'm using appropriate safety gear, and you should too. There are toxic chemicals in all spray paints that you don't want to get into your system. After about an hour, I unmask the seat frame, plastic moldings, and trim parts that I've masked up before. Here's our repair, and here's our re-dyed leather seat. It looks great, and the repair is very durable and should last for years.
So there you go. Please put your questions and comments in down below. I'm going to do my level best in this channel to create an opportunity for us to learn and share together. And it might sound mushy, whatever. It's just the reason I'm doing this. Don't forget also that for pure instructional stuff and trade school styled programs, you can go to paintucation.com and subscribe and sign up for those courses. There's also a ton of free stuff on my Kevin's Tech Tips section on the paintucation.com website. So thanks again. We'll see you next time.